I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. Take my hand, and we don't need to do the things we don't want to do. Baby, while we're young,
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Intel presents the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by Cosmic Byte. Here we are on the penultimate day. We have a single best of three for you. It's going to be the decider final crema. It's a Filipino derby, and it's going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, I really can't wait for this. This is going to be a clash of true titans. We've got Aziz and Kakarot both playing in this coming up game, and while they did very bloody well yesterday, we still haven't seen Georgie fire on all cylinders. So we now have a kind of young gun, a ragtag team of renegades looking to usurp a team that really came into this tournament as favourites, beating Boom in order to get here. Now they have got here. We're in the latter stages of the tournament, and they've fallen off just a little bit here. We'll take a look at our matchup. Let's see just how these teams fan out against one another. Of course, we've got Action PH versus FALLEN5. The winner of this will go on to play against, I believe, Alter Ego in the final.
Indeed, Alter Ego have swept their way through our upper bracket to secure their position in the grand final. But one of these teams has to be able to meet them there. And let's have a look at their path to have gotten to this decider final crema. Let's go to our overall bracket, and we can explain why, seemingly, only Southeast Asian teams remain. Yesterday, the last hope of South Asia in Global Esports was knocked out.
Yeah, Global Esports, they were really coming into this as the kind of Lords of Camelot, right? But that sword was blunted and they ended up falling on it. FALLEN5 really did a number on them in what was a very one-sided scoreline. We saw a 13-7 on Breeze, a 13-6 on Haven. And in Haven particularly, at the end of the half, they were a good 9-3 up. They take the pistol rounds. They end up going, I think, 11-3 down before, there was a little bit of a comeback from Global Esports. But it just wasn't enough for FALLEN5. Harry, those sheriffs are insane on them.
Indeed, they are, Kremer. On the other side of our bracket, though, as we can see how Action PH fell down, it could not be more different for the team that's coming into this decider finals. FALLEN5, they slapped about Global Esports, but Action PH, they were the ones who received a summary spanking from Alter Ego, who came out much stronger than we anticipated. Going into the winners' final, I postulated that I thought that Action PH might be able to win on a duelist differential. It was going to be Georgie, who's in our MVP graphic, going up against Del B. But Del B, oh my goodness, yesterday had an amazing day. In a winner's final, posted 402 ACS on one of the maps. It was absolutely manic.
Yeah, he played out of his mind yesterday. Of course, we're going to take a look at our MVP standings, Harry. Who is it that's really making headlines at this tournament? Of course, no surprises here. We've got Aziz, Kakarot, both from FALLEN5, who have both had some incredible performances. For Kakarot, particularly yesterday, he played out of his mind. We have Rawful from Enigma Gaming, who unfortunately is no longer in the tournament, and Del, who is there by no surprise, Harry. That man was a god amongst men in that game against Alter Ego yesterday, and honestly, I am not surprised at all. He truly showed us what could be done with both a raise, particularly, and of course that jet that we saw on Icebox.
Critically, Georgie, who has been in this graphic basically the entirety of our tournament run, has suddenly been knocked out by Del B being able to make their way up the standings. And at the moment, FALLEN5 have a 50% hegemony when it comes to MVP standings as well. Two of their duelists are here. And that's why we had to ask at the beginning of yesterday's series, will Kakarot be able to walk out from under the shade, the large shadow that's projected by Aziz, and occasionally their absence? I've been told that Aziz may play, may not. I think they were only filling from South Built, and they're going to mostly just be playing on that other Filipino team. But Kakarot seems to be unperturbed by having to step into those large shoes.
I'll tell you what, Harry, this entire tournament is making me feel very excited for Filipino Valorant. There are some good players coming up right now. And for Kakarot and Aziz, it doesn't matter who plays, frankly. Both of them have had some incredible performances. And honestly, if both are playing, then I really worry for Action PH.
I mean, there's a world where you could push them both in for a double duelist map, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe on Haven, maybe on Breeze, maybe on Ascent, although I think they're sort of starting to fall out of vogue on Ascent because you're looking for more double initiators there. But we know that Kakarot can move over to the sky if need be. And we've got so many things to
Hmm.
cover. So we're going to have a quick look at our rosters in a second to see how these teams stack up against each other. Action PH up on your screen to begin with. And Tesseract is someone that we need to highlight as well, because while they might not be the flashiest duelist, when it comes to a reliable server player who can continue to get not only
Yeah.
information but frags, Tesseract's at the top of the list.
No, you're absolutely right. He really had, while he didn't have a standout performance, he didn't deliver when it came to aiming. He didn't have to. The information he was attaining, particularly for Eman, was very, very strong. It also meant that on Icebox, they didn't really need the Killjoy because of the amount of info Tesseract was garnering. It really, really helped them. So I'm hoping that he can keep that form moving into this game here when they are facing the precipice of elimination. You need to remember, though, Harry, that when you are staring down the barrel of elimination, the pressure's there. That mounted stress is going to be weighing on the psyche of every single one of these players. FALLEN5, they've grown a little bit accustomed to it, Harry. They went out in the very first round. They went out the upper bracket, the very first rounds to Enigma Gaming. This has been a slog where they've shut down FS Esports, Morph Impact, Global Esports, and now they're finally here in the lower final against Action PH. Let's take a look at this FALLEN5 lineup, Harry, because honestly, they have been star-studded.
It's been such an interesting rise. Actually, both of these teams, I think, coming in as vaguely unknown for the majority of the
Mm,
SEA region, but they knocked out some really well-known teams from that region.
yeah,
People like Boom, people like Kingsman, who we expected to be the ones who qualified from the Open SEA
yeah,
qualifier. But alas, on the day, FALLEN5 and Action PH, they simply did better. And they continue to do so. Headhunter
yeah,
is someone who we're going to need to take a look at as well. Like, if we're going to compare, we've got to compare these servers. We talked about Tesseract, but Headhunter
yeah.
yesterday, they made Global Esports on Haven look a little bit foolish.
They did, and it's interesting actually that the Sova was doing joint as well as Kakarot. Like there was no real separation between the Jet and the Sova. He was aiming just as well as he was gathering that info. When hey, maybe Headhunter is an accurate name, because I tell you what, if he can keep up this momentum, if he can keep up this form, then Action PH really go into this as underdogs.
That they do. Blaz there as well is going to be one of the people who rounds out the stack. Let's have a look at Blaz and head-to-head, though. As one of the Sentinel players, they're going to have to be holding down sites in 1v1s often, but actually in our head-to-head up against the controller player of Medeski for the side of Action PH, who played a little bit of Astra yesterday on Bind and a little bit of Sage on Icebox. And admittedly, Icebox is where Action PH did a little bit better against Alter Ego, but that was a bit of a
Yeah.
stinky game for Medeski. They played
Yeah.
better on Bind, but holistically, the team collapsed on Bind.
Yeah, bear in mind, over the whole series, he went 12 to 33. On Icebox, he only was able to boast 6 kills. On Bind, he did a little bit better, mirroring it with 6 kills. Like,
But it
he
was
did
less. It
not
was less
have
rounds though, so
exactly. It was not a pretty game for Medeski. My worry, particularly, is that if we're unable to see a recovery, a kind of return of form, then this could be a really quick game, Harry. Like, as we go deeper into these stats, I'm feeling worse and worse about Action PH.
yeah, like we had to highlight as we had a look at the bracket earlier that these two teams could be coming in on different waves of momentum, right? Like we seen FALLEN5 take out possibly the tournament favorites in global
Yeah,
esports in a 2-0 fashion, an incredibly emboldening fashion.
yeah,
Yesterday, at the beginning of the series, when I was still expecting SK Rossi to come out and kind of poo on these kids, I was like, already FALLEN5 have won this tournament
yeah,
from their standpoint. Like they've
yeah.
already achieved so much more than they were supposed to in this bracket, but they keep on going and they've got so much winners momentum with them now. On the
Yeah.
other side, Action PH, they barely showed up
Hmm.
in the lobby yesterday. They didn't even have Valorant installed for that matchup.
No, they had to kind of install their drivers to their monitors, plug in their mice, and by the time they were able to get a bit of momentum, it was just too little too late. Really, really strong game from from this side of FALLEN5, and I just really have to hope that Action PH have been able to find some momentum. Bear in mind, in the bracket, they were able to beat Morph Impact. They did have some very good standings. They did have some good performances, but we're just not seeing it. We didn't see it yesterday. Hopefully we can see it today, Harry. Hopefully we can see it today. We'll take a look at our veto just to see where these battlegrounds will be waged. And for me, I would be surprised if we see an icebox. Well, that's be surprised.
Well, leave your mouth ajar a moment, Kramer, as Icebox is going to be making its way in as the decider. Admittedly, this is where Action PH played a little bit better yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of surprised that we're going to be seeing Breeze here. Maybe this is what Georgie needs to get their mojo back. But Kakarot yesterday on Breeze was looking absolutely lights out, mate.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And bear in mind, Blast as well on the Cypher was also really delivering. Makes me stress quite a bit that if we see FALLEN5 take Breeze, they force it to Icebox, then Action PH, that game against Alter Ego, said it all, didn't it? They really are going to struggle. For me, Action PH, if they want to win this series, they need a very one-sided ascent, just so they can build the momentum, build the confidence, so that when they move on to Breeze, they have that psyche, they have that winner's mentality, as you mentioned, to try and just plow and brute force their way through the FALLEN5 side.
It's going to be an interesting matchup, Kramer, and Ascent is something that we haven't really seen a huge amount of thus far. Straight into the Agent Select, we don't have to keep you guys waiting around for long. As you could expect, Georgie, under the name Jet Only, is going to be playing the Jet here, but I do wonder if we're going to see Georgie return to the KO today at all. Given our map pool, it's quite unlikely, but yesterday there was a dalliance of it.
Yes, there was. Something I'm interested in is FALLEN5. They haven't gone for the Killjoy before. Blast last time was on the Cypher, and it worked really well for them. So I'm interested to see if there's any change when it comes to how he plays, because Cypher on Ascent is a very common character to go for. Bear in mind, that agent worked beautifully for him on Breeze. It would have been interesting to see him kind of play the consistent agent throughout the series. Going for the Killjoy shows a lot of versatility, and I'm quite interested to see if it pays off for him.
It's going to be interesting to see how these teams handle those ult orbs as well when we're looking at these Killjoys, because you're often going to be prioritizing allowing your Killjoy to farm up those orbs, get that lockdown sooner, and use it to execute both site takes and retakes as well. It's not going to take us long to get in, but since you might want some refreshment while we're here, scan that QR code down below that's been offered by our friends and sponsors at Red Bull to grab yourselves a free can. You know that you want to get some caffeine rolling on through your system, just like Kremer here. You can have the same energy that we bring. We want to give you some great Valorant.
Yeah, you want to cast like us. You don't want to play like us, but if you want to cast like us, then Red way to go. However, luckily, there are some players who do play better than us. We're about to see them in just a moment. Harry, before we go into this pistol round, who do you see winning this?
I think that the momentum is too far in favor of FALLEN5, unless there's been a real turnaround in the last 24 hours for Action PH. I don't see how Kakarot's going to be stoppable.
No, you're absolutely right. For me, it's going to come down to how these Jets play. While Georgie, he really struggled yesterday. If he can find some tenacity, if he can bring it back for today, then he could very well be able to turn it around and be the one player who spearheads his team to victory. For Action PH, it all comes down to Georgie. While Medeski had some decent games, Eman particularly did very well on Raze yesterday. It won't matter if they're unable to get the Jets giving them that man advantage. Because bear in mind, when a Jet isn't on form, they're still going to push in to try and get that first kill. But if they die consistently, your team is always a man down. And for FALLEN5, taking these duels, we saw particularly in their afterplants yesterday, they are so effective at getting in a crossfire, taking advantageous duels, and then just pressing an attack to victory. It's like the second they find a pressure point, they will squeeze it and they will worry it until your opponents are crippled.
I mean, there's a world where your Jet can be the worst and the best person to have off form, right? Because as a duelist, there's always the world where you can go in and get nothing except someone to peek and then be traded off of.
Exactly.
But there's also that world where sometimes you look at your Jet with their Bladestorm and you're like, we have an eco round, but we can really make this a power play for us if you can get some value off of that Bladestorm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's see how it fans out, though, Harry. Welcome to Ascent.
Kakarot already down. Intel presents TEC Challenger Series, powered by Cosmic Byte. The decider final starts right here, and it starts with Action PH having a little bit of an advantage in the numbers.
A man down. Sky is tagged, so it's not irretrievable, but they have lost a lot of ground in mid here, and Georgie, he's looking to foray himself into defender's spawn, where he'll be engaging with the Sova.
Tesseract, I don't think they were noted by that Trailblazer. Still, there's a little bit of caution here. You can see it's a slow walk. Headhunter going up against Georgie. Oh, they just about managed to escape with their life. They can't really risk repeating this. Tesseract, though, they haven't been checked. G gets taken out from the side. It was actually Emin who managed to take that down. And the spike being retrieved right now. It's dirty from Yoshi. That's a big choke from the boy. And while Blaz may be able to potentially win this duel here, eventually they're going to have to reload, and Georgie doesn't give him a single quarter. Somehow, 4 members of Action PH survive.
Oh, Harry. Georgie might be home. Daddy's home, and he's here to play.
Yoshi certainly ain't. That was that's a really bad way to start your Valorant match when you get into an official and you've got those nerves and you kind of have a little bit of a choke. But, oh no.
Yeah, that's pretty rough if you're Yoshi. However, on the Sky, it's not too bad if you're not having a great game when it comes to aim. It's all about utility. And in this case, that utility, that aforementioned utility, is looking to harass this opposing Sky.
There's very shorty within this smoke right now. It might be forced on out. That's a full blind onto 4 players, but no one's willing to push on through at this moment. The pop flash is prepared, but Emin isn't going to send it through instead. They're going to go straight up against the shorty, and G just pierces through the door and destroys Emin. But it's not really going to be a retrievable gun that was given on over. That's why you allow your ghost to do the entry. More with the shorty, though. G does not care. They just continue to maraude their way around this site. That's 3! They can't keep getting away with it, Kremer. I refuse to allow it. G has grabbed themselves a Spectre. They could be on track here for the ace. They're up against Tesseract. And while Tesseract will put it in the grave, mate, there's going to be no bonus for Action PH.
I mean, there is nothing pretty about that round at all. How does a shorty get that much work done? As Tesseract, it's a nice clutch of the round here. I quite like the placement of this recon dart. Well, they sweated a little bit, and now this isn't a bonus. This is the best buy they can muster. With Spectres, Ryu's going to have to go to one as well. There is the odd Vandal, there is the odd Phantom. They are still able to fight. But G, with that shorty play, now has that Cosmic Divide, and getting one up so early means that you now have the option to play retake on B and then play around that ult.
A speed on Georgie here. They want to get straight in and close this door, but already they're broken down by their counterpart in Kakarot. No chance for Vegeta. I ain't taking any of that today. Piercing through this area is going to be so difficult, and while Blaz may fall down to the shock dart already, Tesseract has fallen in their own right. With both a Jet and a Sova gone, it's going to be down almost entirely to the Sky to make any entries onto this point, Kremer, and already it's been reinforced.
With aggression coming now. Veski is having to teeter his way through this position. And that extra bit of info from Yoshi is everything. They know Action PH haven't left. In fact, that knowledge alone may be what causes Action PH to leave here. And luckily for them, the Astra, he's over on A. This is complete coverage from FALLEN5. All they have to do is run down the clock here and make sure they don't give up this man advantage. And look how deep this Astra's been able to pierce this A-long position.
Spike's going alone. And they are going to actually start to rotate back over to B, though quite ostentatious with their leaving.
30 seconds left.
Made sure they made some footsteps so that as they come on back to this, they gave it enough time that they're hoping someone's listed away, but no one's fallen for this just yet. And Headhunter stands prepared. That's 2 spotted. That should be the swing here.
Oh.
And the swing works out well. Headhunter grabs their 3rd. Excellent management there from Yoshi, making up for a weak first round. FALLEN5 break the momentum.
Harry, we've got a game in our hands now, haven't we? For a moment, I thought FALLEN5 just get dismantled, after seeing that pistol round. But no, they recovered it beautifully. It wasn't just G who's able to deliver, and that's very important. Because if G can do big rounds with a shorty, if he's the one who they have to rely on for gun rounds, what does that mean for Kakarot? As your Astra's the one doing his job. In this case, though, they're able to win that buy round. They're able to force Action PH down to a couple of sheriffs. The odd pistol. We saw how effective FALLEN5 were with these pistols earlier. Let's see how good they can be with them now.
Actual damage taken, but it's the 2nd layer of info gather that actually exposes Georgie at the end of a long, or rather a short. It's been a bit of a massacre, Crema, and it continues to be so.
If they only lose 1 player for FALLEN5, this is a perfect round. Action PH, 2 kills is all they really want. Bear in mind that it's not a heavy investment. If you rob 2 rifles to FALLEN5, you end up on the economic positive. But Harry, they have to find a way. They have to find a way to win this next buy rounds. And as of late, the FALLEN5 defense has looked ironclad.
All right, I like the claiming of the ult orb here, just getting every little bit of value you can out of this round. There's the recall, but that's going to last for long, and as it drops, guess who's within the smoke waiting? A big round there from G. They've actually had a pair of those now.
Tell you what, Harry, G's looking pretty good, isn't he? He's looking pretty good.
Well, this is the last player, honestly, that I expected to be pulling out multiple multi-frags in the first 3 rounds, but here we are, Crema.
Bear in mind, yesterday, he and Yoshi were doing very little. Yoshi and he both about 25, 24 kills for the entirety of the series. That ain't happening if G keeps playing like this. That's for sure. With another slow start to this round, Action PH just in a bit of a default, trying to garner some control and figure out how FALLEN5 have poised themselves. With this op in the hands of Kakarot, this could very well catch Action PH by surprise.
Classic CNED posting here at the top of mid with the operator on the jet. Emin might look to jump peek this, and you can see that Kakarot trying their best to keep it contested and make sure that any jump peek is presented with danger. There's some reinforcement here, though, for Georgie, and they might be forced out here by the Owl drone. Kakarot's actually just going to clear out of this entire area. They don't want to risk this operator falling into the hands of the enemy, knowing that they're in a very strenuous economic position, Crema.
I quite like it. It's a very disciplined way of playing. Georgie now, he's going to have to try and engage with the Yoshi if he wants some control here over in tree.
Yoshi, the adjustment is solid, and Georgie moves out of there as soon as they can. The Seekers move on out. That's going to be multiple players blinded, but they can't really follow up upon it. In comes the Hunter's Fury. That's going to be an attacking one here from Tesseract. They've done some damage to Yoshi, but it has to be followed up by their friend. The operators finally arrived on the scene. It's in the hands of Kakarot. Headhunter. They just tuck into the corner, and they blast out when they're ready. You've come onto my site, but you're only going to be rewarded for with death. Your efforts.
Tell you what, Harry, they're looking really good now. They are really looking quite strong. And for Action PH, they're a bit tired. As they're tired of being messed around by players who shouldn't be killing them this much. As both Headhunter and G now have had some very strong performances. We're going to take a look at
his monitor, man.
He hasn't taken that off. Oh,
that's a satisfying
cry.
He's losing out on.
He is. Let's take a look at the ult management, though. That Cosmic Byte still hasn't been used. It's now equal level on both sides. We do have the knives on the jet. They've been expended. There's still the FALLEN5 Hunter's Fury, though, which may be a big difference maker if it comes to a retake.
No alarm bot in mid. Blast is having to check this by themselves, and that could prove fatal as Georgie moves on up here with the Blade Storm. That's a cheeky angle from Kakarot. Dare you try and check any more of this? The Sheriff headshot's good. An attempt to blind to move around. He's everywhere. He's omnipresent, baby. Emin has no idea. They were looking at the same angle. And now Kakarot just going to try once again. Pierce in here. The same angle twice in a row. Drops on up and is left on down. The operator will be
a little bit ballsy
by Tesseract. That was a little bit of an ego peak, I think it's fair to say, with the classic and the updraft. And now Tesseract's got some real stopping power with them.
Yeah, it's the AC-130 peak. As he's now with an up of the hazard tester, right? Yoshi can't rotate here. It's impossible to. Luckily, with the aggression of Headhunter, he's completely cleared B. The Killjoy utility, unfortunately, won't be active, so it's a free push over to B now, unless Headhunter turns back in time.
That's an easy first, an easy second, maybe. Oh, actually, move over to Tesseract first. They've softened up Medeski, and the turret's been taken down with only 11 HP here. There's a world where they could be killed by a dog. And now they have to invest the ultimate here. You have to weigh up. Do you want to move forward and risk being detained? It seems like both players are going to risk being detained. The lockdown has been destroyed. However, this rifle has got itself a moment to the good already. A single shot was all that it takes, and it's G once again with the clutch at the end. However, this was a worrying round for FALLEN5. They should not have lost this many players against Anika.
You're right, and I hate to single someone out, Harry, but that pick from Kakarot was a little bit ambitious.
Like, they did so well on the first two, and then they were feeling that jet feeling, you know? It's like, I'm the best player in the world, baby.
What? That compulsive urge to press W.
That duelist urge to just W.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. If that works out, then he's set for the rest of the game. Like, the confidence level is set. But it didn't. He still needs to be a bit disciplined. Luckily, the Yop comes back to him. Look at the ults available for FALLEN5 as well. 4 players ready to commit theirs. They don't have the lockdown, but it doesn't matter. You've got everything else to wield. On Action PH, it's just a lone Cosmic Divide. And while Cosmic Divides are good, they don't work very well on their own. They need something to be accompanied with.
I'd love to see a bunch of the ultimates invested in this round when you know that Action PH are in this sort of like buy and sell economy. Blaz is looking towards the wrong direction. They see one movement, but it was reported over to Yoshi, who manages to take out Georgie with ease. The Seeker's broken on down. The dog actually waits in the corner, and now Emin might try and move around. That's a full blind given. In comes the Hunter's Fury. It might actually be a touch of friendly fire here, but already damage done by Headhunter, and as you make the crossing there, Medeski, Kakarot is there, and Kakarot is waiting. The spike needs to be retrieved by RU, but now in a 1 versus 2, this should be a well-populated... Oh, no, they should have tried to range that Crema. I can't believe they got themselves pinged.
Kakarot now's going to really abuse that. Look how aggressive he's being right now. He's just got to get out of there. Luckily, there's no smokes available for FALLEN5, so it has to come down to aim. But Kakarot, he's definitely got that in his hands, that's for sure, Harry. He'll be able to retrieve that AWP as well, and just like that, we're going to be seeing FALLEN5 go 5-2 up. That aim's sake proving true.
I like the discipline there from Kakarot as well to just drop the op, knowing that if we do kill this guy, with the amount of time we have, we can easily go and retrieve it afterwards. And checking multiple angles, going to be much easier with the Vandal, so it's going to be easier to try and play a swing off someone else in a 2 versus 1. So great threat assessment there from the side of Kakarot. And now a timeout has been called by Action PH, and I think this is a pretty good time for it. But if I were Georgie, I don't want to talk tactics. I just want to get that nice peel.
Yeah, I would take the tac pause. That's not even a tac pause. That's a technical pause, Harry. Monitor problems. Like,
monitor issue, we see him peeling it off.
Yeah, desperately has to take it off. Like, Action PH as well. So the highlight is they're on boot camp. So because of, I don't know if everyone's on boot camp, but with the majority on boot camp, what it means is that it can be very hard to tilt them. Because you have your teammates around you, you have your coach who's still in voice as well. All of them can really find a way to kind of invigor them to play better, to sort of be able to fist swap your teammates, to be able to hear them get hyped if you do well. It really, really helps your mentality. While FALLEN5 don't have that, they don't have any reason to be tilted, Harry. They're playing well. They are playing very bloody well. And with Action PH now listing over to this B site, still having to rely on their Cosmic Divide, which we haven't seen deployed yet. Let's see if it's enough as they look to maybe even list over to mid.
Don't screw it up.
Kakarot once again ready with the audacious peek. They posted up towards Gardens last time. Headhunter's going to get a ping here, and that's an unfortunate miss. Kakarot gets pinged themselves and has to abandon that angle. They might decide to even use the Blaze Storm here to try and give away some of this pressure. But Yoshi stands prepared here. Will they check into check? They might be able to get a free frag here onto Emin. Never mind. They don't try and push into this. That's 1. And then now they're going to start to be spammed out, Crema. Yoshi, that's 2. Could it be 3? They make the crossing. confirm the presence of Emin, but the only confirmation they'll be able to give is the information. And now this mid needs to be reinforced once more, and it's going to be down to G to do the same. A good turn away. Excellent reactions. But I wouldn't really want them to try and take this fight. Better to just play for the information and make time your ally.
Yeah, absolutely right. Bear in mind, Yoshi and G, two players who we just didn't expect to do as well as they are. Sure, it's a trade by IU. When that should reveal, there's going to be a hit to B. This G's now going to be tested.
That's a good back off right there. Gets their sight back, but their eyes are blown out the back of their head. Kakarot goes up top with the Blade Storm. They need to find themselves headshots, and they're going to be able to do so on Medeski. But now they have the way up. Do I want to use this operator to try and fight this out? The choice is taken from them. Emin has a breakout round. And Blaz here. If they can get themselves a frag at range, they can create a Sophie's Choice scenario where they put down a lockdown inside of this boathouse.
He was so effective on the Cypher. Can he do it on the Killjoy?
Now they can peek together. They've ascertained the location. They hear the movement blast. Surely they can't get a 1 versus 2 here. A little bit of damage through the box. That's 1, but nothing more than this. Emin, they grab themselves a 4K, and this is a good time to have a breakout round, son. You needed this.
No, you're absolutely right. And for Yoshi, it was a good round, all things considered. Bear in mind how dire the pistol round went for him. He's definitely bounced back. Just wasn't enough. Really strong stuff. And I love this initiation from Eman. He takes the initiative, sees full well that the knives are out. He's heard it shoot. Then he's heard the switch to the op. He knows there's a split-second moment where he can push. He seizes the opportunity and seizes the kill. 2 rounds separate these sides, Harry. However, Action PH still struggling in the finance department as Kakarot can reinvest the op.
Oh no, that was a big miscommunication there from FALLEN5. And Yoshi's going to lose their life for it. Why did they reveal the op in mid when already Yoshi'd been identified? They need to use the Vandal to kill that. Still, you still naked pick the operator. Why, Kremer? Why?
I guess they assumed Kakarot would move, but you're right, that is a bold move. Blast now has a bit more pressure on him because Tree is going to be lost, and that's going to really force him to win some angels here on a bit of a one-and-done angle. But FALLEN5, we've seen many times before, when it comes to aim, they definitely have it.
Coming around the back, the Jet is going to be able to win out a couple of duels. G's only able to get 1 though before Emin. The big bad returns, and could it be another big round here for Emin? That's a beautiful blind. They identify the blinded individual and take them out as quick as they can. And now the spike's going to be making its way onto the site. It might be a difficult plant right here as Kakarot inches their way forward, trying to find themselves a cheeky angle to exploit.
Spike planted.
Headhunter. Oh, that's a beautiful Cosmic Divide. Look how safe Emin is. I'm not sure why they're penetrating out of here right now. Maybe they want to be able to try and play on the double peak. And perhaps they prefer the danger that's presented from being on the other side of the wall, allowing them to have a little bit of an advantage. Kakarot's going to make some noise over here, trying to take away the attention. What an adjustment here from Headhunter. And coming in from the other side, Kakarot will find their man. A great retake here from FALLEN5. But to be honest, both of these teams had some uncharacteristic mistakes in this round that might be telltale signs of pressure mounting.
No, you're absolutely right. The fact that we saw the Vandal having been seen rely on the op to get the kill on that drone. The initial comm was that the drone didn't turn right straight away.
Yeah.
So that could have been a chance for the Vandal to hide. Because of that, though, he comes for the op to kill it. He gets seen. Op gets the kill. Both weapons revealed for the price of 1 owl drone. Then they still dry peek it.
Yeah, and there's a star there already, Kremer. That's why I'm angry.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a weird bit of decision making, but here's the thing: it shouldn't matter too much. You still win the round. You move into a kind of latter stages of this first half, and you do so with an ult advantage. Action PH is a very fast hit to this B site.
So much more speed this time. This is uncharacteristic of anything they've done before. And the Stinger's going to get a tiny little bit of value right here. The lockdown used to the best of its ability. Maybe an attempt here to deny this rifle as well, as it has been dropped within the smoke. That could ostensibly be juggled out. And FALLEN5 here with the operator. And with the round deficit they have, there's a world where they could call a 4-man save here to deny something like the operator falling into enemy hands. However, seems that with the Seekers being invested on the defensive side, yeah, this has got to be a save. Kakarot, there's no way you try and play this, right? It's Sheriff headshots across the board, and Kakarot will eventually fall to being chased on down. And because of this, now you've given Georgie the chance to reign free with this operator.
Harry, they melt. They absolutely melt.
They lose
what
every
a
gunfight against Sheriffs, man.
Yeah, what a performance that was from Action PH. Just like this little spark, this flash to ignite the flames of skill. And I mean, once that fire's burning, Harry, it's really hard to put out. No matter how hard you try to smother it, it'll still spring right back. And in this case, for Action PH, those are the rounds you need if you want to make this comeback and keep yourselves even as you end the half. The penultimate round of this first half, then for Action PH, they're trying the fast play once again, this time over to A.
That is an unfortunate miss there with the shorty, brings the Killjoy low, and it's actually Timmy the turret who finds G. Go on, Timmy, do it for the boys.
Timmy is irrefutably one of the boys.
One of the lads, Kakarot, caught around the back. Medeski's got some really good value out of these alarm bots so far. And while Headhunter, no way, the double sheriff. They actually run and reload though. Okay, so Headhunter gets IQ in bursts, you know.
They're like little flashes. Oh, that's great. That's a soul crushing round. That really should have been his kill there. He was at point blank, unfortunately, not quite able to convert it. Luckily, eventually, as it dies, or Ayu dies, sorry, but it did have to come through a nice shot from Headhunter. And I want to take this moment to highlight both Georgie and Kakarot. Neither are doing the kind of standout jet performances we were expecting. It's Headhunter, Eman, and G who are the ones who are leading this kill count.
It's an initiator's world, Cremo. We're simply renting it. And we've got to think about as well, there was a world where FALLEN5, they were 6-3, and we could be exiting this half 6-6 now, which Action PH will be incredibly happy with, and it's becoming increasingly more likely. The dog's going to be taken out. Look at the pace here on Georgie. They just run down Yoshi and they carve him up into a Velociraptor turducken. FALLEN5 is left with only Headhunter in a 1 versus 5, and surely this is going to be an evened half. Tesseract, they can be isolated, but Headhunter misses their opportunity. They're corralled into the sight of Ayu, who picks up their first multi-kill of this series, I think.
That it is. Now, Harry, we do need to take a moment to emphasize something. This is Action PH's map pick. And so they do need to win this. If it goes to Icebox, then FALLEN5 have a huge advantage. The fact that it's now 6-6 is definitely worrisome.
A couple of worries, but Action PH, they're happy to have strung together those 3 rounds at the end. They've got good momentum moving into a pistol round now, especially considering they're going to be on the defense. They're all opting for Ghosts, which is an interesting choice. A little bit less utility, especially on the Astra, which could prove troublesome.
That it could do. Medeski hiding for now, as FALLEN5 really try to counteract the Action PH probes for information here, but Georgie's in such an aggressive position. This could really work out for them. He's going to shift up mid.
However, they might find themselves in the crossfire here. Never mind, Georgie's isolated Headhunter. And when it comes to players you want to take out, that initiator, that lack of information that's going to be available on these pistol engages now might prove fatal to a FALLEN5 offense. And they're completely unaware. They needed to use the sustained sight as they moved there. But Evan gets 2. Tries to keep it even. 2-2 now. That Astra looking a little bit worse for wear on the FALLEN5 offense. And so they need to be careful with the peaks that they're going to take. They'll just about find the timing to get away from Ayu at this range. It might be a little bit dangerous to try and test Kakarot, who has, I believe, already regained their dash off the back of a couple of frags.
Yep. He absolutely has, and he's going to be feeling that confidence now. Something I'm interested by Action PH is rather than go for a 2-man stack and then go for a retake, they've split their defense to 1-1, hoping that whoever is defending gets a kill before they die, which is a really tall order for RU, who is in a one-and-done position right now.
I mean, I guess it makes sense when you know you're up against a much more vulnerable player in G. Like, you can try and make sure that they suffer on their entry, just like this. And now RU has isolated themselves 1 versus 1 up against Kakarot. That dash isn't going to do them much good here. Already some damage done. They can't quite connect with the head. They wildly spray. They catch during the reload. They're going to reload themselves. They get the magazine's back! And they get the 4K! Kakarot! Their power level is over 9,000.
Oh, 9001, Harry, because that final kill was pretty bloody good. Look at the hype on Kakarot, and for good reason. That is a solid kill to achieve, and the pistol round particularly, that's all the momentum that's required for the members of FALLEN5, and he is just as excited for good reason. Investment comes out. This time, though, for Action PH, couple of shorties, the odd sheriff. It's not the position you want to be in at all. And for FALLEN5, it's a little bit of a greedy buy, going for 4 Spectres and just a Bulldog. So this could be punished on the longer ranges, especially with a sheriff. However, Action PH, they've probed over on B and then just left. FALLEN5, they've faked this A site by not doing anything.
They responded to the stimuli. They know that the Killjoy's around here somewhere because that turret was still active. Random shots are sent through the smoke, and the reward for such is going to be plenty of damage heading their way. And remember, with this many silenced weapons through the Spectres, spamming these smokes is very much a viable play for these attackers. The entry here, it's a little bit forced. But there is going to be a headshot at least from M, and that puts down 1 weapon. And that's a touch of economic damage, but the bonus should still be clean, Kremer.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's see if it's recoverable now for Action PH. Rifles come out. There's Vandals. There's Phantoms. Medeski, he can't really risk going for the op to be dropped to Georgie. Instead, a tech timeout is quickly called. And while they try to sort that out, we take a moment to look at the ult management because the Jet has those knives available on FALLEN5. Does he risk using them instantly, Harry?
I mean, I think that it'd be a pretty good idea to here because 1 weapon was dropped by FALLEN5, right? Like, they had 1 player die, so they've got 3 Spectres and a Bulldog, I believe, in their armory. And they kind of want to be on the same economic footing here. They're going to be buying rifles next round no matter what happens. If you run basically a shield eco here with the Blade Storm on the side of the Jet, then there's a much better chance you can afford the Operator and use that to try and take a better buy out of Action PH's hands. So for my money, I think you use the Blade Storm here.
Yeah, absolutely right. We'll see if there's hope for them, because for me, this isn't the position you want to be in at all. If you are Action PH, yes, you moved your buy round. Yes, you are against the opponent's bonus, but there's the pressure of if they lose this, they are screwed, Harry. They lose this, they are in so much trouble.
They lose this, double digits to FALLEN5.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just don't see there being a world where FALLEN5 are going to be giving up enough rounds for Action PH to get back into this.
They did manage to string together 3 at the end of their attack.
It's very true. That is very true. For now, it looks like, judging by the position on the spawn gates, granted they could still move, it is just a technical timeout. However, it looks like FALLEN5 are very well considering a hit to this A site, with potentially a fake over on B, kind of led by the Killjoy. We can see the scoreboard. I think the Killjoy is fairly close to their ult as well. So what it could mean is a fake with the lockdown, and FALLEN5, something we actually highlighted from them yesterday, was FALLEN5 don't fake. They are very bread and butter Valorant. Push in, get kills, get a site, and leave. Like,
yeah, they are much less of a faking team. They had their moments, I think, up against... Let me bring our bracket back up. No, it was Action PH who got made to look a little bit silly by the fakes of Alter Ego. Alter Ego were definitely for my money, the most cerebral team we've seen so far when it comes to subterfuge and deception on their attacks. And we've seen attempts at it from Action PH on their own attack, like they had the loud leaving of A, and then pausing on A for a long time without showing anything, or actually it was B that they were leaving. and then returning, but it wasn't fallen for by FALLEN5.
No, you're absolutely right. Let's see what can be done by Action PH now. I would love to see a bit of aggression, actually. Knowing that you're against a bonus, if you choose to just walk into an area, use the range you have, I guess it could really work in mid particularly, and then figure out where FALLEN5 have positioned themselves. Because of that, it means that for FALLEN5, they either need to kill them at range with an unfavored weapon, or they need to hope they're not seen, use the fact they have been seen to just burst onto a site and hope they can swarm it. Sure, Kakarot's playing very well, Harry. He's playing very well. But Eman, who is usually the secondary duelist, now on the sky, is almost matching him. And for the members of Action PH, while they don't have as many frags as, say, Kakarot, they're a lot closer together when it comes to kill count, particularly the other 4 players.
Interestingly, Kakarot appears to have reinvested here, potentially waiting to use that Bladestorm as a secondary weapon for an operator when they find themselves potentially overrun. And that's by no means a bad usage for it. G trying to maintain level pegging with the remainder of their team will only buy a half shield here. And that will make them a little bit more vulnerable. They're not really going to be doing the entries anyway. And I agree. I think that at the moment, for Action PH, we're going to want to see a lot of mid control here. That's where they're going to be at their best engagement range with the rifles. And maybe a little bit of A main control as well. I don't want to see as much in B main because that's pretty optimal engagement range for a Spectre, where sometimes the difference can make little odds if you're being double peaked.
No, you're absolutely right. And with that, let's see if there is that chance to catch him out with the aggression. You've got very deep in wine here, Harry.
This is a great position, though. Blink for this with very little cover available. You can get so much done with the Phantom. They've controlled this area. They just start to spam away now. Kakarot takes some damage, but they don't get the kill, and they're just forced to Scarper.
They have to get the hell out of there. I'm thankful that they were able to get out of there, but they still need to be very careful for the time being. As Kakarot, he's going to foray himself back to mid. The Sky luckily will be able to heal up any damage that Action PH were able to inflict. However, what Action PH have done is bought themselves time. And against a full buy with full utility, time is everything, Harry.
Recon arrow used here on B. Might be a false negative, though, and Tesseract's now going to check it with his face instead. The Phantom in hand. At this range, it will be getting the 1-taps. And Kakarot no longer has the dash to try and close the gap. Out goes for Sonic, and here comes the flash as well. The smoke is put on down, and that was actually a double shock dart, I believe, that stood in the way. An attempt to shut the door here, and Bieski wants to spam their way through this smoke. Remember, it's a silenced weapon, so the tracers won't reveal their exact location, only their presence. That was a quick reaction, admittedly, from Tesseract to stay on top of things, but at the moment, it's looking like FALLEN5 have already done a little bit of damage. G falls down as Eman raids forward onto the site. And once again, it's the secondary duelist who gets done what they need.
It's good.
Let's see what can be done now with a victory. A victory that finally comes on your full buy. The question becomes, should it have been that close? Because they took a lot of damage there. And more importantly, FALLEN5 able to get the spike plant means that they're able to really, really bolster their economy. Kakarot, he has the option for that up. Granted, it will be glass cannon, and he has the knives to back it up. Instead, he's really holding on to those knives. I'm interested to see how he plays them, because while he's done all this, off the heroics of last round, the Seekers are now available for Action PH, as they get ready for another little spot of aggression, this time over in mid, joined by the aggression from Tree. FALLEN5 have got very, very passive. Look how far back they are over on A.
Trying to not give away any information. However, a lack of presence is still a little bit of information, and RU might start to feel a little bit isolated here, and that's why they've called in Eman to recheck this area with the dog. The question is, how many people will have been seen there? Up to 4 of them could have been seen, but I think it was executed rather quickly here, Kremer, so it's back to the jump spot for RU.
See what can be done now as a aggression is timed here. RU, he's called to action. He's seen Harry.
That miss on the dart might prove fatal now. Aryu is untracked behind these boxes. They will be pinged right now. The Kakarot can't win the door. Oh, you get yourself another one with the last bullet in the mag. Sure, Yoshi gets himself a frag here, but the damage might already have been done. And while Georgie gets two, they get the bird as well. They madly spray away to get their third. And you know what? There was actually a world there where Georgie could have lost that gun duel because the bird blocked a bullet, but it wasn't to be.
Are you kidding me? That was that was a great round.
A lot of things went wrong there, but a tracking dart off the back, you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, look, this tracking dart missing onto Aryu. Admittedly, they get hit with the recon arrow afterwards, but it's too late for Kakarot to do anything about it.
He shouldn't survive for that long. He should not be surviving for that long at all, Harry. You're absolutely right. For FALLEN5, that is a big momentum loser. And for Action PH, this is where they start really looking to get this ball downhill. However, you need to remember, Harry, FALLEN5, they happen to know how to use their sheriffs.
And that sheriff has earned them a lockdown as well. Emin looking here to try and duel out with Kakarot. At this range, it's one-tap city, baby. And you know, that's exactly what Emin delivers every single time. Are you emboldened by the previous heroics of the last round? Moves on forward. And the Sheriff of Blast will claim life after life. And it's G on the other side. They isolate themselves at 1 versus 1. It's not going to be fair, though. They're up against the rifle. They don't have much health to work with. And Tesseract just has to roll on forward and desperately look for a body shot, which they will find.
Just like that, Harry. Just like that. We find Action PH taking the lead. It is clean. It's a clean round, sure. But once again, FALLEN5, they bring Action PH down to 1 player. How many 1v1s are we going to be seeing Action PH go into where they end up winning it? Because eventually they'll start losing these. And because you are on your defender's side, your economy is going to take such a huge pummeling. Georgie, though, Harry, that's a nice gun next to his name. We haven't seen that this game.
Oh, I don't like it, Kremer. Why are they revealing the operator to take out a turret?
Well, he has a vendetta against Timmy. Timmy did something to him in another life.
I'm not a fan, man. Not a fan. Still Medeski now. Tucks in with pizza. I'll have a pepperoni, please. Kakarot. Will they be discovered here? No. That was a very interesting kick from Yoshi, and now they're so worried about Yoshi, they're not thinking about Kakarot. It's a double! It's falling apart for Action PH. They managed to string together 3 rounds, but 3 might be where they stop. FALLEN5, they have themselves an absolutely free B site, and Kakarot is still playing absolute overlord in mid.
I tell you what, Kakarot, he had a really shaky round up till here.
They're trying to close the gap here, Kremer, because they want to loot that operator as well. They're not going to get the chance to do so. Aryu would be on track for the ace, but I think they just want to save the op here. Give it back to Georgie.
Yep.
It's been too stressful the last couple rounds to try this and throw away even more economy, because we've got to remember that Action PH, they may have strung together 3 rounds, but like none of them have been clean.
You're absolutely right. I want to highlight as well, we saw some very quiet rounds from Kakarot. He hasn't done much this second half. I was worried he was starting to burn out a bit, but no, he just wakes up and destroys them. Same said for Yoshi as well. Yoshi, the one player who really was not delivering, and he hits a shot like that. When you do land shots like that, you only need to do it once, Harry. You only need to do it once. And my God, was that a time to do it?
When it comes to moments to find your heroic bent, taking out the operator is one of them, and you got to wonder what this does for the mental of Georgie. Sure, they've been performing very well, but when you get that operator in your hands and you're just like instantly decimated, it can do things to the psyche of a Jet player.
You're absolutely right. With FALLEN5 now, looking.
Shooting it. When will they learn?
Oh no! Oh no!
I am requesting humbly that we stop shooting utility with operators.
I am requesting a bit less humbly. Please just stop. Action PH, they've got a. Bear in mind, they don't have much money. The fact that they're now in a retake like this, both Cosmic Defiers are available. I fully expect to see them come into it.
Oh, blasted in such a good position here. Oh, what was that?
Enemy remaining.
He bends bullets like a magician. He's the Dumbledore of assault rifles, the Gandalf of frags. Yoshi looks to try and cover the distance, and they'll hunt down Iman. That's going to be get another digit here for FALLEN5. They're going to be able to hit 10. I mean, someone else was already shooting it.
He's the Merlin of murder.
Like, look at this. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that one. Yeah.
That was a magic spray, though, man. That was Akio headshots.
Yes. Oh, but what's interesting, actually, is the only one actually challenging Kakarot is Eman. Georgie's having a really poor game. While there are ults available, or almost available, 3 of the players of FALLEN5's just 1 point away from getting their ults up. I imagine it would go to the Hunter's Fury, but Action PH, they've already got theirs ready. They're prepared to take this fight. And as the recon bot goes out, Hunter's Fury, unfortunately, is the only thing they don't have
Oh,
there.
Edmund, what a flick right there. And Tesseract's good on the secondary here as well. The Initiators are holding down this site well. Sentinels, who needs them, mate? Out come the Seekers. And more damage has already been done to them. They are going to be able to get out of that corner scot-free for now. Tesseract's grabbed yet another. And as brutal as FALLEN5's previous round was moving forward, it feels like this approach to B has been absolutely brutalized. Headhunter won't be able to get more than 1, and 4 players surviving here is a real change of pace for Action PH.
Tell you what, just when we think we've seen the standout performance from one of these players, it's instantly responded by FALLEN5. And like FALLEN5 do something that we think looks standoffish. Action PH, they have their crack at it, and it continues in this spiral with a complete level pegging, Harry. 10 to 10. This is true competition right now. Look at the ults available. Everything bar the Seekers on both teams. They have a massive power spike. Both teams have money. Both teams have investments. They've got ults. There are no excuses now for if your assault to a site messes up, it's all down to skill.
They're going to be revealed here by both the turret and the guiding light as well. Georgie just continues to try and move on forward here. It's a barrage of ultimates. Action PH going to break down, or at least attempt to, the lockdown. It's a very interesting lockdown, admittedly. They've used it to try and clear out mid. But seeing that mid control is going to be fought for, already the door has been closed to B, so a mid to B split is no longer at all subtle. But subtlety is not on the mind of Medeski. It feels like Action PH are winning gunfight after gunfight. And the tune simply ain't changing. RU should be expected here. G should know that this is an area that's not being cleared. A lovely headshot, but unfortunately, too much damage has been taken. And the simple leg coming through from Georgie will put him down in the grave. Action PH have now strung together 2 rounds with 4 players surviving, which is a real change of tune.
You're absolutely right. This is where things come very, very interesting for the members of Action PH, because they now, for the first time in a very long time, have themselves with this a lead. They haven't had a lead since like round 3. Now we finally see FALLEN5 with a bit of pressure, actually, a bit of stress. This isn't a good buy. We may finally see the knives committed from the Jets, but there are still ults available. We haven't seen that big dumpage of abilities that we expect to see nowadays. There goes Timmy once again, Harry. That poor guy is hated.
By the operator again.
Yeah.
However, maybe now the operator will be suspected on B, so there's a little bit of value to taking out Timmy, when it's in fact going to be watching mid. This needs to be smoked off. If you don't smoke this with your Astra when you know there's an operator in play, I'm going to be a very angry boy.
You don't want to see Harry when he's angry. He smiles, but it's scary.
It's a menacing smile.
It is. I like how the members of the FALLEN5 have just ignored the drone. They sort of just accepted that it's there. However, that may end up being a false positive. They see one player. That could very well be a lurker. Now FALLEN5 slowly push their way into B. And Tesseract, look how confident he's being with his peaks.
Tesseract feels that they've definitely got an advantage here. Do they know that they're up against a Blade Storm? It might be a little bit of a boost up here from a Jet. Indeed it is, but they don't see enough.
30 seconds left.
They keep one up draft in, and here we go, the entry onto the site, right down on top of them. But it's a right click, so there's no refresh on the knives. They have to try and pick up a rifle and use that, but Emin is just a little bit faster. Georgie enters onto the site, but don't worry, mate, says Emin. Daddy's already finished this one off. Let me chew your food for you as well if need be. An attempt at the right click is going to be put on down by Headhunter, who almost secured the site. But here, look at the position that G had. They were all the way back in Wine. They are completely isolated, and time's going to make a fool of them. This gives over match point to Action PH. What was the overall potential efficacy of the lurk here? I suppose it was to try and catch people who made their way through A main when you attacked B, but that seems unlikely to me.
I mean, it didn't work. She did get a kill, but unfortunately, Headhunter died a little bit too early there. As the members of Action PH now, they've got money, they've got that op on Georgie. Still no op available for FALLEN5. We haven't really seen them. We haven't seen either team use it op on the T side or the attacking side particularly. So the extra rifle does give them a bit more flexibility. But this time though, Georgie looking to go a bit aggressive in mid. Timmy, is he a target this time?
They didn't shoot it with the op. Oh, that's a miss. Oh, but look at that. You get the element of surprise. However, if you give it the second peek, you guys know the rules about sniping. One shot and move, boys. Tesseract evens up the numbers, taking down Headhunter. And that's going to make moving onto B site a little bit more risky, because now you can't go for some cheesy darts.
Yeah, absolutely right. Man. Just trying to shoulder peek these positions for the time being.
Concealment.
It hasn't worked out just yet, though. Action PH continue this fairly heavy commitment to fighting in mid, and they know where FALLEN5 are. FALLEN5 just haven't moved from outside B main. B hasn't worked for them in these last couple of rounds. Will this finally be their chance to break that trend?
They can capture this, Tremor. They need to be really careful about their post-plant positions as well. They've got to think about the lockdown all the way. Did you see how fast he dipped? He was very unready for that gunfire. I was like, nah, mate, I've got my info. I'm out, man. Emin is at the back of sight, and this complicates matters. Emin, he's so damn strong. Action PH resurge themselves on Ascent, and they win out on their map pick. I can't believe we just saw the peek in from Kaka. I was like, nah, you know what? Never mind. I don't want this site anyway.
I mean, what a way to do so. Really, really strong performance there from Action PH. For a while, I was really worried that FALLEN5 were able to take the series 2-0. However, with Action PH's victory over on Ascent, not only do we have a series on our hand, Harry, we have a bloodbath on our hand. I fully expect this to go to 3 maps. Better still, I'm expecting overtimes. I'm expecting full 26-round matches, because this really cannot be separated.
And these are going to be high frag count matches as well, because even when we see teams like FALLEN5 and Action PH winning, it's often coming down to 1 versus 1s. Ascent is simply littered with corpses. We've had our funniness, but we've also had some huge moments, particularly from Emin. What a great time to have a breakout, and especially after you had such a quiet first few rounds, and we're like, okay, maybe Emin is just playing a supportive role today, just looking for some flashes, looking for some info. And considering that we have Breeze in the pool, if your Sky is on it, that's a very good sign.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something that I am interested in seeing is that now we move over to Icebox, I'm fairly confident that we're going to be seeing Airman on that second duel list. He's shown that he can aim. He's shown that he can be confident and that he can be combating even the enemy jets. So I would love to see him on that secondary duel list. So I think him and Georgie, when they're working together, when they're probing for not only kills but for info as well, they can really be the ones to dictate the pace of not only a game but of a series.
It's interesting that neither of our jets have actually seen a huge amount of success on the operator just yet. It feels like the aim is a little bit more crispy with the rifles and with the operators, especially when we move over towards Breeze, which is all about the longer sight lines. While we analyze that in advance, you can have a look at what just transpired. You'll be able to see the magic spray as well, which I think is going to go down in the annals of history in my mind as just like, oh yes, precise gunplay.
That happened, right? As for Yoshi, he started this game pretty badly, but towards the end, he was really hitting some very clean shots, particularly here. It's while he probably wasn't aiming for the second player, it's still a very clean shutdown, and for FALLEN5, they looked very dominant here. I'm impressed by Action PH in their ability to kind of stay untilted for the entirety of this game, because they were down and pretty much in losing for almost every round bar the final 4, where they just get that second wind and pull themselves to victory.
This was one of the defining moments of the series, actually, for me. That attempt at the ego peak, the AC-130 jet. And I'm also very interested in the fact that the same AC-130 jet, we saw entry later on into the round and go for a right click to try and take out the Sova. For me, smacks a little bit of potentially a touch of shaken confidence in Kakarot when we saw Action PH start to string together these rounds.
No, yeah, absolutely right. I'm really impressed nonetheless, though, by both sides. For me, I think FALLEN5, once they get a little bit more momentum, once they get a little bit more confidence, I think that we could be seeing them really do well on Icebox. It's just a matter of whether or not they're able to give the space for Action PH to be able to hit these flashy kills, these consistent aim duels that have just been shutting down FALLEN5.
I'm wondering if we're going to see much Marshall play, actually, as we head over to Breeze. Because neither of our jets have been particularly hyper-accurate, you know, when it comes to the operator. I think the overall Kakarot did a little bit better, but it was still mostly body shots across the board. And admittedly, you're going to go for body shot as a safer shot with the operator, right? But one of the things that's really interesting about Breeze is that because it's got these longer sight lines, sometimes force buys can break an opponent's economy just off of what you can achieve with a Marshal. We've seen players like Ye on Envy, El Diablo themselves just absolutely destroy teams who seem like they should be in the lead, because the Marshal can be a little bit of a hip-fire demon and can actually just tear through attacking teams on Breeze.
You're absolutely right, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if there is a chance for these attacking teams to be able to deliver, really. I think Breeze, while it is very attacking oriented, there is still that element where you still need a lot of aim. It's very hard to zone with utility because of how just big the map is, and it puts a lot of pressure on your Sky, and as we saw yesterday, a lot of pressure on your KO. I would love to see a KO again today.
I'm also wondering what we're going to be seeing from Medeski here.
Yeah.
Because Medeski has played Astra before. They've played Viper, I think. No. They played Sage on Icebox, not Viper.
Yep.
And in this, they were playing Killjoy. Who's going to be picking up the Cypher? To a degree, Cypher is almost pretty meta on Breeze. And we know that Blaz is going to be coming in to play that Cypher incredibly well. And you're going to need someone who can go toe-to-toe in the information war.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think that you're going to need to switch potentially another player onto that info gather, as you do desperately need that Viper and Sage when you play on Icebox. There's no two ways about it. It means that we could be seeing a bit of an uncomfortable roster, really, from the members of Action PH.
Might be the case, but of course they are going to have a little bit of time to talk about it. There's M, and finishing it off, that was some lovely gunplay. Here a look at the stats, and well, it's no surprise to see Emin up there at the top. 27 kills, 305 ACS. And admittedly, Blaz, not the greatest game from him so far, but I'm expecting a little bit of a resurgence with how important Cypher is on Breeze.
No, you're right. I'm very impressed with Aman, particularly. He played out of his mind there, and honestly, there wasn't much of a trade, really. There wasn't much of a solution to how Emma was playing. Kakarot tried, sure, but he was the only one who was really hitting these flashy high kill rounds. Sure, we saw the odd round from G, but that was it.
I think one of the things that might actually decide this round, or this game rather, this Deciders final, is which team can more quickly adapt towards combining their agent utility. Because it's been interesting that both Yoshi and Aman seem to have been playing almost duelist-esque skies, where they're not really setting up as much. with the guiding lights. We've seen a little bit, I think, Iman and Georgie particularly moving out of the B main has been one of a few times where we've seen really the Sky play more of a supportive role to try and allow their Jet to do a little bit more. But I'd love to see on Breeze a little bit more coordination between the utility of the initiators and the duelists themselves.
You're absolutely right. We're going to have to see just how these initiators and duelists will be working together in just a moment, though. We're going to go to a quick 5-10 minute break. When we return, though, we'll be able to see who's able to emerge victorious between FALLEN5 and Action PH over on Icebox.
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
and welcome to the streamer reviews where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the PredatorSense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Action PH have claimed their map pick here in our Deciders Finals. This is Intel presents the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by Cosmic Byte. And Kremer, we have a match on our hands here.
That we absolutely do. I mean, when we're going in the veto, I was worried that FALLEN5 were going to really struggle when it came to just how they were able to play against Action PH, just in general. There's a big clash of play styles. However, that first map, Ascent, I'm really feeling, not only Action PH, I'm really feeling Eman.
I mean, Eman sealing himself in the break. You had a little bit of a tidbit for me when it came to Eman's performance. What was that? What was that headshot percentage again?
61% headshot percentage. This is over 27 kills as well. Eman is insane. I mean, he's an animal. This was on Sky as well. This wasn't even on the Jet.
There's a reason they're picking that Vandal, right? Playing for those one taps. Yep. Eman has had a breakout series here. It's been very clean for Eman. The question is, can they maintain it on Breeze? And with how they're feeling at the moment, will they feel like they have to move over to something like a Reina here, or are they happy to stick with the Sky, which is fairly meta over on Breeze? I mean,
both characters, they have a flash, right? So Eman could really just play the battle Sky, which isn't out of the question. I mean, Soda, he did it last map, right? So there's definitely potential to see it again. I would want to see the Reina purely because you do have a bit more survivability, but a bit more durability when it comes to that heal, that dismiss. It puts a bit more emphasis on your aim, which, let's be honest, Eman, he definitely does aim, but let's just see how he does, really, when up against Kakarot, who was feeling it on the Jet.
When you see that QR code down below, make sure that you scan it to give our partners Red Bull some love. You saw Kramer just take a swig. This is how you get to cast some of the top games in South and Southeast Asia. You got to get that energy pumping, and who's a better partner for that than Red Bull? And at the moment, I'm hoping that FALLEN5 have been able to ingest some Red Bull in our break. Before we threw it over, I was postulating that I think the winner of this series could steal it away by doing a little bit more in terms of agent synergy. I think that's what's really been lacking so far from both of these SEA teams. And if they can start to find the ways to combine their agent utility in tandem a little bit more closely, that might be a trump card between these two teams.
What I quite like about that Red Bull banner as well is because it's on a loop. This is my notification to stay hydrated. Like it's like
hydration just check, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Every time it appears at the bottom there, we're gonna take a little sip, and that'll tick us through the game. That's for sure. However, you mentioned agent synergy. For me, it's not just agent synergy. It also comes down to communication. I think that a lot of the time we saw the op being revealed when it just didn't need to be, and the one time it wasn't, Georgie was able to push through mid and gets what would have been a free kill. He misses the shot, but any other time he has the element of surprise, he has the chance to advance, and he's able to punish that aggression. So I really want to see a bit more vigilance when it comes to whether or not you give that orb revelation.
Yeah, Georgie, really. I'm not gonna lie, really let me down with that shot. Because I was like, here's what I'm talking about: the element of surprise. And they missed for sure. I'm like, come on, man.
That's not. Georgie didn't have a good game in general.
This was supposed to be point, example, and evidence, but the evidence simply was fumbled. A little bit of evidence.
Well, I mean, point, evidence, explain, I guess, in that case. We're going to take a look at the draft. Let's really see it. Eman, he's hovering over that Sky. So there it is. The Sky does come out. I doubt we'll see the Reina on anyone else, purely because there's the Killjoy. It's not necessarily a required agent for Breeze. However, it's not all too uncommon to see that that agent be pulled out. Over to FALLEN5, there's no real change in character selection. We do see the Cypher on Headhunter rather than Blast this time, so that'll be interesting. Never mind, I switch it at the last moment, Harry. They're really keeping me on my toes today, aren't they?
And we are going to have this battle between the Cyphers as well, which is going to be very interesting. This is one of the areas where I think Blaz definitely has a bit of an advantage. Medeski's play on the Sentinels was fairly weak yesterday, but looks a lot better today. And admittedly, a lot of people might look fairly weak when going up against Alter Ego. That Indonesian team is on point.
Yeah, they absolutely are. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this map plays out. For me, it's all down to communication. Breeze, because it is such a big map, you need to have your info on point before you commit to these rotations.
Question is, how's that info going to be communicated? We talked about it earlier, and the operators only get more important as we move from Ascent to Breeze. This map is characterized by two things: sightlines and size. It is a big chungus, an absolute unit
Yeah, it
of
is.
a map. And with that in mind, it can often be considered attacker-sided simply because a rotation from a defensive team, if you want to do it safely, takes a huge amount of time. If you want to have a short rotation as a defensive team to try and back up a site, if you want it to be quick, you have to move through mid, which is absolutely exposed from so many angles, and there are so many places that can be lurked in fruitfully to try and grab people as they move from A to B or B to A.
You're absolutely right. I really hope, I'm really hoping that we are going to be able to see some more emphasis on lurker plays. We saw it once from G on that Astra, and while he was able to get in behind his opponents, there was not enough time left in the round, and they actually just zoned him using a sense kind of long rotation against him. Hopefully that isn't the case here. Hopefully we do see lurkers have a bit more of an impact in the course of a round. However, there's enough talking about this. Let's get straight into the action because we've got ourselves Breeze, FALLEN5, their map pick to try and come back against Action PH, their chance to bring themselves back into this series and prevent the rematch between Action PH and Alter Ego in the grand finals.
FALLEN5, they teeter on the edge of falling down entirely. This is the last chance. There are no more mulligans, no more extra lives. But already you can see, look at the aggression here. This huge foray down mid. They actually decided to split into A, which is very interesting. They didn't actually have someone who was posted up in the site to begin with. Instead, they just had this lurking Viper utility there. And they actually left B undefended, maybe looking for a retake here, which is very interesting considering that they don't have the ability to put down a fresh Viper wall there. They do at least have an active camera, though. And you can see, here's Georgie moving into the way. That's a big ping on Kakarot. They get slipped back, slingshotted into place by that tripwire. Potentially a touch foolhardy to make the dashing entry on the jet when you know you're up against a Cypher. This is why the KO can get so much value here.
Blast is so low on HP as well. Georgie, all it takes is a single bullet to the side, and they've walked past each other.
A big ping here, Blaz. Watching that. A single bullet will put them down, and they're so close to connecting here from RU. And Tesseract's going to be the surprise coming in from the back. They catch Blaz unawares. The shock darts are ready to go as well. Everyone's falling down under what Action PH bring to the table. They move forward like a tide, like a wave, and they crash against FALLEN5.
Oh, Harry, no one was able to call wash because that wave had already broken. What's an opportunity there for Action PH to show FALLEN5 that not only is this one of the maps that they're happy to play on, but better still, they show that it's one of the maps they can play well. They carry the momentum over from our initial map of Ascent, and now they're looking to just continue to worry the weaknesses, to hack at that kink in the armor of FALLEN5. Marshall's come out, as you mentioned earlier. You wanted to see a bit more of these, and we have seen FALLEN5 have some lethal eco rounds. Will this be one of them?
Ghost Recon, Koala Edition. Marshall could claim many heads. G, interestingly here, actually has an advantage. It's an easy headshot. However, that's no looted weapon given over. And now Kakarot in the Marshall versus Marshall. Emmons hitting the headshots, but we know that he do. Over 60% headshot percentage on our last map. But considering that Action PH have themselves a buy advantage, ostensibly, they no longer have a numbers advantage.
Wow.
Damn, son! That's a nice little adjustment right there. Can headhunt to mirror it.
Oh.
Yes, they can. Action PH. They've kind of been hoisted by their own petard here. They've went out.
We told you, Harry.
Like, the Sheriff's just hit different, but I don't know why they've taken this many audacious duels when they have themselves a gun advantage. Like,
Yeah,
they gave themselves a bunch of angles where they had to continue checking all of this area. And I don't think there was a real reason to do so. Like, if they just allowed for a plant and then they retook with better weapons, you win that most of the time, right? Like, you could do it with pistols. Why couldn't you do it with Spectres?
Look, you're absolutely right. I'm really interested to see if FALLEN5 can mimic the success on their buy rounds, because the pistol round looked shaky from them. Action PH, sure, they did make the pistol round look shaky, but here's a big but, Harry. Can they now do the same with their sheriffs?
All right, G sprays away, takes down the first, swaps to the sheriff. But elsewhere, the Vandals found its man and taking down Iman is a great frag to pick on up. And once again, Action PH here, it's more understandable that they get aggressive when playing with these sheriffs. They just want to try and isolate people who might be scouting for information. But it feels like FALLEN5, when it comes to reacting to these pushes, they are winning so many of the gunfights.
That's true. There's a bit of a shift here from Headhunter. He could very well catch out the remaining members. Also, FALLEN5, they're going to give themselves a lead, Harry. But you need to remember, FALLEN5, they were in the lead up until like the final 4 rounds of Ascent. And that's when Action PH kind of kicked into gear and they showed up and just ruined them. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Oh, no, Harry. Oh, no.
I can't believe Tesseract managed to do more damage by not shooting than by shooting. Because the psychic damage that has just been dealt is larger than anything the Classic could have done. Grab a custom CS, I can't.
Some CS.
Yeah, custom Valorant as well.
This isn't Valorant anymore.
I haven't seen BM like that in Valorant for a while.
I haven't ever seen BM like that in Valorant. There's the opening, the ops revealed, and there you have it. When you use the op to give the element of surprise, it's very hard to counteract. Action PH, they go mad up off the heroics to Georgie.
Oh my. Oh my. They consider putting down the toxic screen here. We're actually going to think better of it. And this is a really... I have never seen a toxic screen like this before in my life. Look at this defensive one. It's all the way down cave. Is this an attempt to, like, try and ferry forward? Jet only? Like, bring Georgie deep into the cave? It's going to be a battle in mid. And this is one of the things we highlighted earlier, that Blaz versus the other Cypher was going to be an important battle, and I was giving it to Blaz in my initial assessment. It seems like the lurk is working out here. The operator looks for its man, and it is going to be able to connect a headshot there, putting Headhunter in the grave quickly, and also dropping the spike.
No.
Touch of blocking, boys. Touch of blocking.
Steady on. This is the Georgie we were waiting to see. Now he's got that up. Now he's got a bit of space to play with. Bear in mind, this map, particularly, Breeze loves ops. There's so many wide angles to hold. And, well, as you've just seen, Georgie, he knows how to use it. So, great round from him. 3K to give themselves a bit of confidence. Bear in mind how shaky he was on Ascent. Now it falls to FALLEN5 to really enable Kakarot, because he's met his match.
And because FALLEN5 have now fallen down, without being able to string together multiple rounds of their rifles, it means that they're going to have trouble generating money for their own operator here. It'd be much easier for them to be able to steal it, but to do that, they've got to find the jet first. And kill her, which is easier said than done.
Yes, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. For now, this is going to be a very tough position as that spike goes down. Headhunter gives the man advantage. Now Action PH are really going to be tested.
All right, this is a big decision moment here as well for the side of Georgie, because going up against the Viper's Pit, the worst weapon you could hope for is the operator. Sure, you can randomly snipe ahead and maybe you'll get lucky. But when it comes to actually being able to confirm kills in a meaningful way, it's not a great setup for the operator. And you can already see that Georgie's actually going off on a mad flank here. They might be able to try and pinch people as they try and exit from the spike explosion, but they've got to be careful not to hand over a free operator. That's a great start from Emin, but they know that the time might already be too far gone. A cheeky angle here from Georgie should be able to claim a couple of kills. 1 or 2 at least. And there it is. Easy for Georgie. Even easier
He robs a few guns, but it isn't the lead that Action PH were trying to garner. Keeping almost all their players alive, though, now that is a way you garner control. Big help with their psychological advantage. On top of the fact that they now have money, this may very well embolden them to really push into these players.
Yeah, they haven't really suffered much in the way of economic deficits here from being able to keep that many players alive. Meanwhile, they keep FALLEN5 in a position where if you buy that operator, it's a huge risk, right? The economy simply isn't strong enough to sustain that in a meaningful manner. Out comes the Blade Storm. They want to be able to move quickly to try and intercept this push right here. They know that the operator might not be at all for the job. Look how high Georgie's gone right now, but no one's peeking the sky-high jet. 37,000 feet maybe, but it's going to be 0 kills in the end. Georgie, though, that's a miss on the right click. They fumbled the ball, but they have been able to do it with a sidearm. Still, it's going to be G who manages to patch over the cracks. They've casted Mending, and they've managed to at least allow this a little bit more worthwhile. Do not challenge Iman! Do not challenge Iman! Because Iman does not give away anything for free. And Headhunter now, I think they might have themselves a shock dart lineup. Doesn't matter, they've got the Vandal anyway. But Iman makes it so expensive.
Iman, he is nuts, isn't he, Harry? He's actually nuts. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the HP to fight this. Saw the armor. It's a quick little burst from Headhunter, and like that, FALLEN5, they're able to start building their lead. Now, in terms of ult management, it's the Cypher Ping and the Hunter's Fury available on Tesseract, which does give an advantage to the members of Action PH. While Kakarot's knives are good, they aren't kind of round sculpting like the Viper's Spit can be, for example, like the Hunter's Fury can be. Looking at the investment, though, we are going to be seeing the knives this round.
Kakarot hasn't picked up a main weapon here, which means that they're going to be making a play, in my opinion, for the operator later. And as you can expect, Iman has already opened this up. It is scary for FALLEN5, even at 4 and 2, to know that Iman has not cooled down between these maps.
Poison's off.
Slow start. Another hope to try and make up for a man disadvantage, and Kakarot may be the man to do so. Yeah, look at the angles that are being held. They're just not moving.
And here comes the jet. Oh no, they dropped down. They've made some sounds. The timing was simply the worst it could possibly be. And Headhunter's taken away. Now you've lost out on a huge amount of your info gather. Kakarot takes a little bit of a dink, but it's okay. It was mostly absorbed by the door.
Can't get past this little tripwire though. Tesseract, sure he's caught out, but there aren't many teammates left for G here. They need more than one, and they need it quickly. Yoshi's location isn't known, so it does put a bit of extra pressure on Ryu. However, when it's only down to one player, matter where Yoshi comes from.
There you are, shit.
Lovely stuff there. The drop down works out nicely. That was actually an upgrade as well, I think, for a couple members on the side of FALLEN5. Like, you can see it was only a pistol here in the hands of Tesseract. That was a must-win round in terms of their economy, and they've done it fairly cleanly here.
No, that
like,
they have.
Only losing the pistol player is such a dub.
Exactly, and he's on an investment round anyway. More importantly, the players who get kills, it's Eman, it's Ryu, players who are building up their ult once again. There is a few ults ready to come online for FALLEN5, but they need kills and they need orbs in order to make that happen. Right now, it's all onto the Cypher Ping, but even in order for that to work, they need to get a kill.
It seems so weird that it feels like Action PH is winning even when they're behind in rounds, just because when they win rounds, they're usually fairly clean with it. And it feels like they're definitely winning economically. Yoshi, oh, that's a great way to take that tripwire. This means Kakarot can come in without getting slingshot. They've managed to find themselves nothing at all. You, sir, get 0 because Iman stands in the way. Sure, they fall to G, but 2 kills is already too many. And now George is on the backside. The crossfire will be good. Tesseract gets them through the box, and that's 4-4.
Man, Iman, he is so good. He is so good, Harry. I think this is going to turn into a, relationship with Del B ended. I'm now an Iman fan.
Iman is now my new best duelist.
Yeah, he is
Not even
looking
playing
so
duelist.
good. Exactly. Like, he is really looking strong. And here's the thing, Georgie's now playing well as well. So it's now no longer a matter of Iman having to carry or Georgie having to show up. You've got both your win conditions here. FALLEN5, they need to be playing perfectly if they want to try and find a way to shut down this side.
Marshall in the hands here of Kakarot, hoping to try and find some magic headshots. However, where can you really find the space to operate here? A drone heading down high up on mid. I think it's Miss G, so Iman might find themselves actually wrapped around upon here, but there should be good cover. Oh, that's a really well-timed smoke. That actually forces the Sova off the angle, but Iman, it's just headshots, man! It's only ever been headshots! Iman just continues to slaughter, continues to slay, body after body, shot after shot, and round after round. Kakarot will eventually put them in the grave, but the damage might well already have been done, Kremer.
Last player standing.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker. They got the dink. Oh, they got the dink. They brought Georgie down to only 5 HP. But Georgie was simply too fast on the draw for the second duel.
It's just not enough, Harry. It's just not enough. Action PH. This is the side we were expecting to see against Alter Ego. This is what we wanted to see against Alter Ego. But we just don't. Instead, it falls on to FALLEN5 now, who really, really have to find a solution here. Because, well, Kakarot last game was good. Sure, he was good. Headhunter, he was taking some frags. Blas and Yoshi weren't putting up numbers. And it's now the kind of weaker link of the chain that really has to be picking it up, getting that fortification in order to deliver.
Iman. I'm just going to continually be looking at this position here. G's presence is discovered by Medeski. Not fast enough on the ADS to take him down, but hey, info is info, right? And the info right now is suggesting a B push.
See what they can do with FALLEN5. Just fanned out round the map. Slowly but surely hunting for this opening. The Seekers, though, they may betray Blast's flanker.
Cage triggered.
Blast is going to have to use that cyber cage now to try and get away as fast as possible. They've got their exit covered, at least using that camera. And knowing that this area is open, and with a little bit of trolling on the door, we're actually going to call in some reinforcements here to try and make a hit on A work. But you are going to have to still deal with Georgie. You're dealing with one less sentinel, yes, but you also have to deal with the toxin wall.
30 seconds left.
And Georgie's already found their first here as well. That's a slightly nerfed entry. And as you move through that wall, it does appropriate a pop flash. That's one of the weaknesses you've got to deal with when you're looking at those when you're looking at that Viper wall. It makes it so easy for the Sky to catch you by surprise and make it so you can't turn away. And that was excellent utilization there by Yoshi. G needs to win this, but they simply won't. I think G right there was actually swapping over to utility at precisely the wrong moment. And with the neural theft invested here, Yoshi and Headhunter, these dual initiators, want to change up their positions. Medeski decides to just jump into the pit of the beast. And the beast will find their prey.
I'm kind of surprised by that pathing, actually, from Medeski. He knows where both players are, and then he pushes into an angle where they can both swing on him. Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't matter anyway. He loses the first aim duel. With that, FALLEN5, they find their equalizer, and good, because if they'd allowed Action PH to continue this momentum, it would have been very, very difficult to shut them down.
And it feels to me that Action PH are a better team of the two at gaining momentum than FALLEN5 are, and utilizing that. Often their momentum has to be broken. Oh my goodness. This is an ambitiously high play. Tesseract, well positioned to take out Yoshi. And of course, that operator's already found a head. Speaking of heads, Headhunter does not feel too brave about peeking that same angle when they're over up against the operator.
Let's see what they can do now. 2 players down. It's tough, Harry. It's very tough. Are not having a great game, though?
Oh, are you? Doesn't win out against G, and now it's this same play again. Headhunter with an absolutely miraculous headshot
Spike
there.
planted.
Takes out the big cannon. The operator put down on the floor. But Iman's still alive. So this is still doable. Iman considers moving on into the area. But instantly they're taken down by Blast. Playing the entry. Making sure that they work around this smoke super well. Headhunter picks up a trio. And this is frankly a miraculous round here from FALLEN5 when they lost both their Sky and their Jet right at the beginning of this round. Excellent play from the 3 remaining members.
No, you're absolutely right. To go from a 3-on-5 to win with 3 players left standing is really, really strong. That is a good round to turn around. And in this case, this gives them a huge amount of momentum. Look at the money of Action PH. Luckily, it's the final round of this half. If this happened any sooner, they face economic collapse. They're actually saved by the bell in this case. As FALLEN5 now, another default, another hunt for a man advantage. Let's see if it works out.
I can't help it, Kremer. Every time we see one of these defaults, I look to see where Iman is on my mini-map. They've just been so scary thus far.
Yeah,
maybe the operator will be the one to claim the first contact here. Yoshi is going to be the one up against it. They've beaten the operator before. Will they be able to do the same again? Georgie has to expend that dash. So elsewhere, Tesseract manages to win the duel for the tube.
Look at that.
Oh, this is why we look for Iman. Yoshi can't win that op duel. And now Georgia just moves forward with a shorty in hand. It's going to be a battle stop here with the operator. Oh, I'm in melee range, baby. I'm a warrior with the operator. You sticks it close on the 50-50. They have no idea that Headhunter's this close. I don't think Headhunter's done anything to reveal themselves. Have not used any utility just yet. Might consider using the drone to try and penetrate through the poison orb, but
30 seconds left.
I'm not entirely sure how much money they have. Actually, there's no point in saving here. It's the last round of the half. Their presence is confirmed, and you know that Iman wants to take this gunfight, unless he wants to take every single one, but there isn't going to even be a chance to do so. Georgie steals that out from under them. 3 kills on the round with the operator, and we exit Breeze with an even half, which is bad news for the attackers.
Yes, it absolutely is, because honestly, FALLEN5, that was a shaky half for them, all things considered. I think we're used to seeing them do these massive, fast plays where they're able to just win aim duels and push. In this case, while Iman and Georgie are playing well, that's no longer an option, and it's really looking to challenge this FALLEN5 side. Sure, FALLEN5, they're a new team. To get to top 3 in a tournament's amazing, but these guys, they're the lower bracket run. They were gunning for a victory here. You need to remember, third place only gets 2,500 euros. First place gets 5,000. Or second place gets 5,000.
Dollary dues, Kremer, dollary dues. Kakarot. They'll have to join us soon, but it's Georgie at the moment who's made their way forward. What right-click nerve? Asks Georgie. I haven't read those patch notes. I don't care. Kakarot's coming now with the Sheriff. It's an ego buy for a Jet. No utility. All aim. Will the aim be serving them well this time? Tesseract has fallen down, and Iman being removed early here by Yoshi is a great play. A quick heal from the surviving Sky of Yoshi will bring Kakarot back up to fighting stance, but look at this. Georgie is just claiming life after life. Up against the Sheriff now. They easily plink away. They can use the dash. Yep, I'll have that, mate. Cheers.
He's pretty happy that he's been able to retrieve that as well. That's really... You need to remember, Harry. Yeah, absolutely. You need to remember that the aggression from Georgie here. Look at the confidence he had to darts to back sight and then just keep fighting regardless of if the flash hits him or not. I'm really impressed by that ego play, and it works. And so unlike we saw from Kakarot go to the AC-130 Jets, that ego play didn't, and he was kind of shaking for the rest of the game. It works here. What does that mean for Georgie, who already has had a very dominant half?
Been pretty great for Georgie. And I don't want to be presumptuous, but I'm wondering how a match against Alter Ego goes if Iman's feeling like this, you know? Like, this is a very different player from what we saw yesterday. Tesseract utilizes the gun advantage and bullies G there with the Spectre at that range. In comes the Reek. Oh, okay. It's all right. Someone else has got it. Iman at range still hits those headshots, but when it comes to the spamming out, the second player is just too far gone. And this one's basically... It should be a foregone conclusion that Yoshi will be able to loot himself the Spectre here. And Kakarot will be discovered. The Spectre has been gate-kept thus far. Gaslight, gatekeep, go boss.
In this case, that boss is really looking pretty good. Oh, Harry, Action PH, this is a pretty good position to be in. You win your anti-eco, or you win your bonus with 3 Spectres left alive. You now move against the Phantoms. 3 Spectres, the 2 players who died can go for rifles, and all of a sudden, you have a really strong buy. You look over to FALLEN5, their money is really in a tough place. We've got G, who has to go down to a Bulldog. This is not where you want to be. Actually, a bit sure. Some of the supporting players are really struggling. I believe it's OU who only has 1 kill. But that doesn't matter. It simply doesn't matter when Georgie and Iman are doing so well.
And they might be doing so well just because they're being enabled.
Yeah.
Only.
No, I mean, they are.
Georgie did well there to just close the distance with the Spectre, find an optimal engagement range for that SMG, and that allows for the upgrade as well. And this is going to be a very difficult post-plant scenario for FALLEN5. And it's getting even worse with Headhunter down. It's gone from bad to worse to potentially hopeless. 5 versus 2, and they might have to call for a save here. Kakarot desperately running away, clutching the Phantom to their bosom. I'm sorry, I'll never leave you again.
I didn't mean to leave you the first time. I was forced to.
I swear, I can change.
Oh, that brings back memories.
Sorry, mate. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm just give me a moment.
Wipe a single tear away.
Yeah.
Oh, Kakarot risks the duel, and they get punished for it by the old 1 frag wonder. Ayu picks up a critical frag at the end there. And it's all about the effectiveness of these frags, right? Like, that one might not have mattered in terms of gaining a round, but in terms of future rounds, look what it's done to the economy here of FALLEN5.
Yeah, you need to remember as well, for Action PH, like I said, Ayu, Tesseract, Medeski, they're not doing very well. But it doesn't matter, because Georgie and Iman are doing so well. They're destroying FALLEN5. And while the frag count is top heavy, sure, this is like the absolute embodiment of having a... That's a very nice shock dart as well, by the way. A recon arrow, by the way. But it's the absolute embodiment of having a double duelist to just carry a team and then just get enabled by your supporting players. And for Action PH, that's the winning formula. They send out the Seekers. They know full well that FALLEN5 went with the gamble in stacking the wrong bomb site.
Tesseract lurk here. Tesseract's lurk. How is G1 2 rounds? Two separate fights in a row with the Sheriff. We know that FALLEN5 are a little bit different when faced with these Sheriffs, and Iman's already taking too much damage here. You've lost out on so many of your critical players that he's down to supporting cast once more to try and clutch out. You might have the lineups here, but they're surely going to be hunted. You can't have 4 people around this spike. You know what that Viper's doing. You have to hunt them down. There's no point in playing this slowly. They get 2 frags! No! No! 3 frags! I refuse to believe it.
He's won the rounds!
I can't. How is it?
Oh
you're
my God!
You're in a 5 versus 1 and 4 of you are crowding around the spike. Never in my life have I seen 5 people's brains simultaneously shut down.
Are you? He was on 2 kills! 2 kills before this round! And he's just completely clutched it. Blast! Oh, that is a blunder.
That was simultaneous brain failure from everyone on FALLEN5. Like, you know where that Viper's going to be in a post-plant. There's no way you don't know. The post-plant meta's been around for, what, like, 6 months?
Since the beginning of the game, Harry. There's it. Can we have a timeout for the casters? Like,
I need to go vent some anger, man. I need to see a therapist. Oh, well, this is a well-earned Viper's Pit right here. Half of it given over by a single snake bite, and here it is used on B. Oh, Tesseract catches Yoshi on the movement through here, and Aryu's just thinking thin, doing their best to simply stay alive on the point to keep this. Wait, Viper's Pit on Viper's Pit action here. Sticking around is going to be difficult, and this might be winnable now for FALLEN5. They still have Kakarot alive, and Aryu's actually exited the pit now, but it's Tesseract coming in from the back, who's taken down G. And that means that it is 11 rounds for Action PH. They are on the cusp, Crema, of returning to that critical rematch against Alter Ego in a grand finals.
Oh my God, Harry. Action PH are now looking they're looking immortal right now, as that round, sure, it gets made a little close, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Having won against that eco, sure, it should have come down to one player on an eco, but let's be honest, it was a way to win. The knives are out for Kakarot. There's the Hunter Series still available for Action PH, as well as a set of knives of their own. We won't see them expended just yet.
Kakarot would love to turn this around. Is it going to be the reality, though? But Georgie also wants to go knife for knife. It seems like a lot of misses just here, but there are no misses for Kakarot. They find their headshot, but it's only onto, once again, one of the supporting cast members. Still, Iman and Georgie are alive. And while Iman and Georgie are alive, FALLEN5 look absolutely neutered. It's G round the back with a Sheriff in hand. And when you're looking for Sheriff Warriors, few are going to be as effective as this player. But the simple fact is, at this range, the Vandal's going to win 9 out of 10 times. And I'm afraid statistics, once again, win the day.
Match point.
Harry, it's over. It's just over. Action PH. It's hard not to talk about that round.
From having a 5 versus 1 with 4 of you staring at the spike, man.
There's no mental recovery, is there? And it's hard not to keep looping back to that game, because for FALLEN5, that was their round to win. That was their chance to come back off the back of an eco, and it's just been completely nullified. They've been on the back foot since then. Look at their buy. It's just a tough position for them now, as Action PH to just pull themselves to victory.
The operator looking to try and stop things here. That was almost hip fire there from Kakarot. Might well have been. 2 frags with the big investment, already getting their values worth out of the operator, and maybe a touch more on top of that. A 3rd here for Kakarot. And now the Viper might not have been killed, but they've certainly been wounded. And Yoshi smells blood in the water and finds themselves a round for FALLEN5, who refuse to go down and whimper.
I can't help but think, Harry, this is just a death rattle. Like, Action PH, they've got money in the bank. They've got ults a couple of rounds away. Sure, they've got the Cypher ping, but it's only 3 away for Eman to bring out his Seekers. Headhunter, he's 1 away from his own Hunter's Fury, which could very well help the retakes here for FALLEN5. And with a ping from Blast as well, they have the info gather. The question now just comes down to whether or not they can win the aim duels. And while Kakarot had a great round, can he mimic that success?
Quick movement here, up the halls from the side of Georgie. It's going to be challenged here, potentially. Tesseract's already got themselves a first frag. Headhunter's managed to take out Kakarot. An attempt here to try and stop the plant, and they at least stop it in its tracks, but they won't be able to kill anyone because the movement is too good. Oh, that's some great reading there from Tesseract. And this could be it, Crema. 4 versus 2 in a post-plant. Action PH desperately want to grab themselves the grand finals. Tesseract has been tagged, sure, but Medeski here with the operator is actually going to fail up against G. It's been a great round from them so far, but Tesseract doesn't want to give anything away. And it's a 4K for Tesseract. The Space Stone finds all the space they need to operate. And Action PH claims our decider final in a dominant 2-0 fashion.
You're right, it is dominant. It's a great performance from Action PH there. And while for quite a lot of that kind of mid-game, they look very, very harassed by FALLEN5. But once they're able to adapt, once they're able to get their groove for how their opposition are playing, they just steamroll their way to victory. We saw it on Ascent, we saw it earlier on Breeze, and we just saw it there. What a game that was from them, and they now take that deserved place in the grand finals where they get to have the vendetta, the rematch against Alter Ego.
They've guaranteed themselves at least $5,000, but the question is, will they be able to get the 10? Last time they met Alter Ego, Del B absolutely decimated them. But it's a different player that Iman is between yesterday and today. And the real question that we have to ask is, will Iman be yesterday's Iman or today's Iman tomorrow?
Same said for Georgie as well. Georgie, well, Eman played insane. He played so well, that's actually taken away from how well Georgie did. Because he also, while he was a little bit quiet on Ascent, he really showed up on Breeze. He really was able to deliver. And so for me, that shows that there is still that spark. It isn't him quieting down as we enter the latter stages of this tournament. This is him just struggling a little bit with consistency. What this means for Alter Ego, though, is they now have to toss a coin, roll the dice, and pray to the high heavens that Eman and Georgie don't both show up tomorrow, because if they do, they need Del B to play out of his mind.
Still, as we bring up our graphics, let's extend some commiserations to FALLEN5 and a congratulations on a tournament well played. A team that didn't really have much prestige coming into this. We expected them to likely be knocked out in the open qualifiers by a team like Boom, by a team like Kingsman, who have a lot more prestige over in Southeast Asia, but they managed to brutalize their way through and be able to not only make a run through the lower bracket, but take out some big teams on the way, including people like Global Esports. And that's a huge scalp to claim as a new team. And as you head into 2022, that's the kind of prestige you want on your name as you head into local VCTs.
No, you're absolutely right. And honestly, bearing in mind FALLEN5, they're a new team. They're a new team. The fact that this is their debut tournament and they're able to get third means that there is only positive things to say for them for the future. I cannot wait to see how this team progresses and advances through the rankings of the SEA region, maybe even the SA region as well. Honestly, there's a bright future ahead. But for now, let's take a look at the victors. Let's take a look at the scoreboard to see who these star players really were. Now, for me, the MVP was Eman for the entire series, but you can't let that take away from Georgie, who had an incredible performance over on Breeze.
That was a really good Breeze from Georgie, including some really intimidating operator play. There was a world where the operator was going to be a little bit lackluster. It certainly wasn't Ascent. We saw essentially one of the freebies that they would have been offered being a little bit of a whiff from Georgie, but they've managed to do a little bit more here with that big old cannon. And it's going to be important going up against Alter Ego tomorrow, because you know that Del B is going to be ready and waiting to try and give you an op duel if you want to go to somewhere like Breeze.
You're absolutely right, and I think the Del B. In fact, no, it was Nats who was opping, wasn't it? Not Del B. So the
Nats and Del B kind of swapped it off, but we had Nats as the second opper.
Yeah, Nats, Del B, Georgie, and Eman are going to be the names to watch out for tomorrow. They are going to be the true star players to watch. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of this game. For me, the biggest one has to be that Viper clutch. I don't know how on earth that happened.
I refuse to call that a clutch, Crema. I think that's a crime against the word clutch. I mean, on a technical level, it was a clutch, but what it was a collective brain fart from 5 people.
It was a rough performance, wasn't it? My heart goes out to FALLEN5. It genuinely does.
I mean, I was physically angry.
You were physically ill, like. Oh man,
that affected me in a physical way, but. Hey, when it comes to affecting me in a physical way, my heart rate gets up when I...
Oh, this BM as well.
This might have actually been what tilted
that was
the
starting
series.
One. Yeah, that
was
tenderized
the most damage I've ever seen a classic do. And it was without a single shot.
Sometimes the biggest kills are without firing a shot, Harry. This case. Oh, man. Tesseract. It's just messing with his opponents there. But like Tesseract sort of tenderized them, then it was the Viper who just he really pummeled them. Oh man, what a game that was from Action PH though.
Eman do flick, don't he?
He do. He do.
I did wonder what the overall headshot percentage for Eman was over the course of this. This was one of the critical mistakes there from Headhunter. it wasn't really as much of a mistake, to be honest, as much as it was just sort of like unlucky timing where they dropped off a rock, made the sound, and suddenly Georgie's like, hold up a second. I didn't just drop off something. What's this sound?
Yeah. Oh man, that is a very much. Man, he is just so good, isn't he? He is just so good.
Crispy and Georgie here. There's a reason that why Georgie has been in our MVP graphics every day except for today, ironically.
Yeah.
That's because in a load of their other matches, they just performed so much better than they did against Alter Ego.
Yeah.
Alter Ego,
Well,
that match was just really bad for Georgie.
Yeah, in itself, that's a testament to Alter Ego, being able to shut down Georgie. Because when Georgie's feeling it, he is feeling it. Like, there's no two ways about it. And while FALLEN5 did have some very good rounds, Headhunter particularly really did have some stand-up performances, as did G. Kakarot really has struggled quite a lot, actually, in the duel with Georgie.
We've got to think about a holistic tournament as well. One of the big pluses we talked about yesterday when we had a look at our winners finals is being able to skip today and just be able to spend today examining your opponents. And to be honest, Alter Ego already had a really good idea of how to shut down Georgie, but now they might decide to try and alter their efforts a touch to maybe do a little bit more in terms of removing space from Iman as well, and how to try and play counter flash against a brutal Sky.
You're absolutely right. And as we see some aggression now, like when Action PH started really feeling it on their attacking side, particularly when they started really pushing into FALLEN5, they were just so effective, weren't they? And this is it here, Harry. How on earth was this allowed to happen?
I mean, I can't
What's
believe
in there?
I cannot believe it, honestly. Like, it.
My God.
Step the
Like,
screen, man. I don't want to look at it.
let it
I
play.
don't want to look at it. It makes me so sad.
That physically pained me. Like, I feel like if I was on FALLEN5, I'd have had a hernia. Like watching that, like
Brain hernia, man.
Yeah, like that truly was some problematic gameplay. However, honestly, after that, it was just downhill for FALLEN5, wasn't it? Like there was no recovery.
And it was such a shame as well, because that was going to be a thrifty round from them. That was absolutely opened up by G catching two separate people and winning two gunfights with Sheriff versus Vandal. But it was kind of fumbled at the end in a 5 versus 1. Like, there's no reason for 4 people to stand there staring at a spike. But these are the kind of problems that do arise when you have a fresher team that, like, might not have those roles where, like, okay, you're on hunting duty for lineups, you know?
Yeah,
like, everyone was coming in from the same kind of angle. You don't have the depth of strategy to try and deal with that. And I'm confident that FALLEN5 over time would be able to move away from making mistakes like that.
You're absolutely right. Hopefully they will be able to. And I hope we do see more of FALLEN5 because, as mentioned, they are good. Like, this is just Action PH being insane. Like, in order for FALLEN5 to get here, they had an immortal lower bracket run, and it came down to two of the favorite teams to have to be the ones to beat him. So I would love to see more FALLEN5 in the future, and I imagine they do go back and listen to this. And so congratulations for getting this far. Don't see this as a stop in the road. See it as just a little hurdle. Like, this is merely a speed bump because there's a bright future for them.
Let's have a look at that par thing. Of course, they did get broken down in the first winners bracket up against one of India's best in Enigma Gaming. However, then they were able to take out another South Asian team in FS Esports, Morph Impact, I believe Indonesian.
That was a good game. Yeah, that was a really good game.
Banger of a game, and Morph Impact, definitely one of the teams that we were on the lookout for, as the Indonesian scene is proving incredibly powerful. But FALLEN5 claiming that was maybe somewhat unexpected, but really garnered some notice, and then decimating global esports really could be what puts FALLEN5 on the map for 2022.
Yeah, it really could be. That decimation of global esports was something to really add a talking points. However, Harry, we now have only one match left. Our grand finals. Action PH versus Alter Ego. Alter Ego, they came into this tournament as favourites. Action PH, they've shown that if they are the people to usurp anyone, it would be Alter Ego. They now have a vendetta and their chance to upset Alter Ego in their vengeance matchup.
As you guys can see down below, thank you to our sponsors, Red Bull. Make sure to scan that QR code. You're able to get yourself a free can of Red Bull. And thank you to our other sponsors as well, of course. This is Intel Presents the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by Cosmic Byte. These companies are.
I don't have a CPU I can eat.
Esports. But... Yeah, don't eat a CPU. Install it in a motherboard. Right? But it has been an absolute pleasure to bring you this best of 3 today. But we promise you, even more Valorant action is on the horizon. Make sure to like this video and hit subscribe down below, because tomorrow we're going to have a best of 5 grand finals coming your way between Alter Ego and Action PH. You won't want to miss a single moment of it.
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus vortex flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Zephyrus S17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Bye.